Hey folks, welcome back to Candace Boxing Channel. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. Fight day today for those who are, particularly for those from the UK. Anthony Apache Kakachi and Lee Lethal Wood. That should be a good fight. I'm looking forward to it. I think Kakachi has got this, but I'm looking forward to a good fight. There's no doubt that Lee Wood is he's going to come to fight. So it should be way better than what we were served up in Times Square in New York, and for that matter in Riyadh. Which is a perfect segue into what I want to talk about. I did a couple of videos, sort of trashing that absolutely atrocious card, the Fatal Fury card. And I suggested that possibly fighters were simply being paid too much money. And I don't mean across the board. I mean, I'm not suggesting that, young prospects are getting paid too much. What I'm talking about is that sort of, 98% of the money is made by 2% of the fighters kind of thing. And most people sort of agreed, quite a few comments about, Marvin Hagler's famous comments about when you're sleeping in silk pajamas, it's hard to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go for your run. But I had some pushback, who are you to say that fighters are getting paid too much money and, they're risking their lives, stepping between the ring, and, all that sort of stuff. And I hear you. I'm not saying that we should go back to the days of, fighters getting, a couple of bucks and promoters are driving away in their Rolls Royces. Though, truly speaking, that is kind of what happens, except for some of the very, very, very multi-millionaire, super rich celebrity fighters. And we all know the names, right? For every heavyweight that's slugging away there, you've got a guy dressed in Gucci driving the Bentley kind of thing, right? Well, a famous and well-paid, but not like at that super elite level of pay, has come out in support. Rolly Romero. He has given a number of interviews, and he said, and I'm going to be quoting from the Ring magazine, that big bags of money being thrown at fighters are working to the detriment of the sport and contributing to the recent run of lukewarm and listless performances. So here we have a fighter himself who's also making lots of money. So he's not like at that entry level who's sort of saying, oh, those rich guys. This is a guy who's also making lots of money, saying, look, we are getting paid too much. Rolly Romero, who's now moved to 17-2, fresh off that knockdown and unanimous decision over Ryan Garcia, who would be one of the people he's talking about. The Ring magazine says that basically, Garcia, Devin Haney, and Jose Ramirez stunk out the joint. And even says that Teofimo Lopez didn't dazzle in his win over Arnold Barboza Jr. I actually thought Teofimo Lopez did an okay job, but I guess okay. It wasn't Eubank Jr. and Ben, which really was a great fight, scrap, between two very, very, very rich guys. But I think there's a lot of underlying stuff there. I'm not saying that they would produce that on every occasion. The Ring magazine talks about the night after the Times Square thing, Canelo Alvarez and William Skull. God, I never want to see Skull on a card again. Threw a combined 445 punches, the fewest in a 12-rounder in CompuBox's 40-year history of tracking fights. 445 punches combined over 12 rounds. I haven't done the math, but, we can sort of roughly work it out, like 40 punches a round. And, wow. Like, that's combined, right? Just go and hit the bag for a little while and you're like, wow, is that all? Back to Rolly Romero. Rolly Romero said that Garcia was fighting to survive after being dropped. Remember, he was dropped in the second round. And that Alvarez played it safe against the runner Skull so that he could move forward to that big September fight that he's got scheduled with Terence Bud Crawford. And so Rolly Romero, and these are his exact words, "This is coming from a fighter. You guys shouldn't be overpaying fighters because it then makes them not want to perform, especially when you have fights already lined up next. It's sad because they are surviving for the next paycheck. It's been going on for a long time. It is messing up the sport. You have to do it like the UFC does. You have there's an expletive, so I don't know what word he used, but you can imagine you have like a shitty performance or something. And then another expletive, you're not getting any damn money. So you can imagine what he said, right? And then he goes on to say, that's why it's taken away the hunger from these fighters. They have a guaranteed check. And that's why all of these expletive keep protecting their undefeated records. I have 2 losses in big fights. It's never derailed my career. I'm still here. They can't take me away. I keep coming back. Y'all think I'm gone, but I keep coming back again and again. That's because I have balls and I go after what I want, unlike these other dudes who protect their records because it's not enough money. I fight for belts and legacy. These guys only want to fight for money, and it's sad, and it's destroying the sport." Very, very interesting and absolutely unequivocal comments from a top fighter himself, which makes you wonder. I mean, I've often thought this, like when I lived in a big city, I would go to watch NHL games. Some multi-millionaires skating around on the ice. Honestly, I prefer to go and watch a much lower level where, the guys are really, really trying. Maybe if you're, if your favorite football team, are you really wanting to watch people who are beyond wealthy, generational wealth? Like, is that as good as watching, almost like an amateur team? Rugby is the same, right? Like, look at the great rugby teams when rugby union was an amateur game. Do people today try that much harder? I don't know the answers to these questions, but I do think there comes a point where people are so rich, so much money, that they're not really trying. And honestly, it's good to see a guy like Rolly Romero sort of, vindicating what a lot of us have been saying. I'm not saying that he's, 100% right across the board. I'm not saying that every rich fighter doesn't try. As I said, Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn proved that very rich people can try very, very hard. But just as a general thing. And of course, the more money you pay these fighters, the more expensive the whole process becomes. I mean, to go to a major sporting event in North America now it's outside my price point for us to go to watch, whether it's an NFL game or NHL game, excluding travel costs, just the price of the ticket and, a hot dog in the stand or whatever it is. It's now just too expensive. It's been 50 years since I went to a football match in the UK, but I would wonder, what does it cost to go and see Manchester United now? I don't know. Are you getting value for money? What about a big fight? What about, going to see the Usyk Dubois fight in Wembley? What would that cost? I simply don't know. Is it now out of the reach of the ordinary working man and woman? And is that right? These are interesting questions, right? I'm not coming down one side or the other. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's get a conversation going. Anyways, as always, please like, please share, please subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye-bye.